With game challenges being the big thing right now, I figured I would give it a try myself rather than doing a traditional playthrough. I mean, who doesn't love a good challenge? In this playthrough of Mega Man X3, I want to try and see just how many of the Mavericks I can beat with the first Maverick weapon I obtain. As you can probably tell by the thumbnail, the weapon I'll be using is the Ray Splasher. I'll keep the rules real simple. After I obtain the Ray Splasher, I will only battle the Mavericks, Bit, Bite, and any of the other end stage bosses I can't think of the names of right now with the Ray Splasher. If I exhaust Splasher before being able to defeat the Maverick, or the Maverick is invulnerable to the weapon, then I will have to finish him with the Buster, or if I cannot beat it at that time, just come back later. No other obtained weapons will be used. I will also be collecting all items, upgrades, including the gold armor and the Z-Saber. As I make my way through the intro stage, one thing that I notice is that X's over trusting really starts to shine through in this game, and really goes into overdrive in X4 with double. But at least his capture gives us a brief moment to play as Zero. It was fun since it was the very first time that you get to play as Zero. Only downside is that he's kind of a glass cannon, really strong, but he takes big massive damage, and once he's gone, he's gone. Zero slices through Mac like a hot knife through butter, and that frees up X to finish up the stage. The intro stage ends with the fight against the Crushinator. Who really is just a pushover, as most intro stage bosses not named Vile are. Alright, now that we have Fister Roboto out of the way, let's get the real fun started. With me needing to get the Ray Splasher, I'll be starting with Neon Tiger. My reasoning behind wanting to start with Neon Tiger is that his weapon for sure takes care of Bite, Vile, Gravity Beetle, and forgive me if I butcher the name, God Car Machine Oanari. Not only that, but Vile would need to be taken out with Splasher in order for the Z-Saber to be obtained. While I'm here in this stage, I'll grab the first sub-tank. And then head right over to the Centipede mini-boss. While this boss isn't really difficult, it can get very, very annoying, especially since it drops these little spiked balls all over the place. And if you're trying to shoot the centipede rather than the spiked balls, it could be a bit of a nuisance. Now that he's been defeated, I make my way to pick up the stages in my first heart tank. With that picked up, it's time to go in and battle the love child of Wolverine and Tony the Tiger. I actually start off doing fairly well against him. But as you can see, I'm starting to get a little sloppy with my timing. Don't know what I pushed start for. There's no sub-tank juice there to help me out. And now I have to start over. I pick up about halfway through the second battle. Even with this second go around, I'm cutting it fairly close. Well, with one hit point left, I managed to get my last shot off before he does. And now I have my single non-buster weapon that I'll be using for the rest of the game. Unless I am trying to pick up an upgrade. This now takes us to Blizzard Buffalo stage. There's not really a whole lot going on here. One great thing about this stage is that it's the easiest one to get access to Vile. Once that option has been unlocked, that is, I believe you have to defeat 2 Mavericks first before you can start battling Bit, Bite, and Vile. And since that criteria hasn't been met, that's why this room is empty. We will revisit this stage in order to fight Vile once I'm ready. But for now, we'll focus on the 2 upgrades in this stage that I can get to right away, which would be the leg upgrade and a sub-tank. So now we have our leg upgrade. Time to head back. Now we can grab the sub-tank. Now for Blizzard Buffalo. I immediately try to use the splasher and notice that Blizzard Buffalo is actually invulnerable to it. And he instantly makes me pay for my mistakes. But knowing that I have to use the Buster, I can also use this little loop trick that keeps him stuck in the corner, which is very, very helpful as long as you don't mess up the pattern like I did. But I get him back in the cycle and make him into Robot Buffalo Jerky. Normal boss order would dictate that I go and visit Toxic Seahorse next, so even though I won't be using Blizzard Buffalo's weapon, I'm gonna go ahead and stick to this order. Early part of this stage often reminds me of Andy Dufresne trying to get out of Shawshank on Taco Night, as Family Guy put it. We'll continue climbing through the sewage to where we'll eventually get a hold of this stage's heart tank. Alright, now that we have that, it's time to fight this weird little mini boss whose arms don't do anything. I believe his weakness is also the Frost Shield. I almost said Frost Tower by mistake, but it's Frost Shield. I wasn't going to use it anyway, and the Buster works just fine. And out of the way, it's time to fight Toxic Seahorse. This first attempt is not going very well at all. Taking a lot of hits, and I'm not dishing out enough, so I would imagine that will probably end poorly. Attempt 2 is also not going very hot, seeing that I cannot avoid the acid spray. I try to use the reserve energy in the sub tank, but I'm merely only delaying the inevitable here. Side note, I cannot stand boss characters that dissolve or melt or go into the ground like that. They're so annoying. And so with that, I decided that, you know what, I'm probably gonna put off Toxic Seahorse until later, preferably after the chess piece has been received, so I don't take so much damage. Here in Tunnel Rhino stage, the only upgrade that we can pick up on the very first go through without the Triad Thunder weapon is the sub tank. Which is on a ledge that's not too far from here. Right here. Next up is this awkward little mini boss here in the stage. You can look at this boss and tell that he has nothing but bad intentions. I mean, what good can come from something that's just trying to ram you with a giant spike? But he goes down without much of a fight on the Tunnel Rhino. I'm starting off with not much health, so you can imagine how that ended. But we're gonna try again, of course. The Ray Splasher, while doing damage, is not doing very much. I would imagine I would need to hit Tunnel Rhino with every single shot in order for it to defeat him. But since I already wasted a couple of shots on that first go around with my 3 bars of health, I will have to finish him off with the X-Buster. Unfortunately, I also failed a second time, so take 3, and I'm back down to the nitty-gritty of health. You know, I sure managed to finish a lot of fights in this game with 3 or less hit points left. That's not good. That's not good at all. Since I have Tornado Fang now, it'd be a good time to head back to Neon Tiger stage and grab the Buster upgrade. It's also a good time to go on back to Blizzard Buffalo stage and grab the heart tank that's underneath these piles of ice. And while we're here, it's probably not a bad time to go ahead and head to Vile's lair. As in previous games, Vile's fight is in 2 phases, and we already know he can be defeated with the Ray Splasher. The main thing is conservation, so that the last hit definitely comes with the Splasher weapon, so he'll be destroyed, or else no Deep Saber for us. First phase goes without taking any damage. Second phase, not so much. My health does start to get a bit low. But I also managed to get into a little bit of a rhythm, and I switched back to the Buster so that I can make sure I get that last shot off with the Ray Splasher. Now Vile's been fully eliminated, hopefully for the last time in this game series. Wink wink. I best get out of his lair before it blows up. Now we're back to the main stage. It's time to blow this popsicle stand. Next, I will pay a visit to the original Big Bad Beetleborg. Unfortunately, even though the heart tank looks like it should be easy to get to, for whatever reason, these crates continue to exist as long as Blast Hornet is still alive, so we'll have to come back after Blast Hornet's been beaten to get the heart tank. This stage will be the first meeting with the member of the Nightmare Police, which, by the way, is a hilarious name, Bit. Bit himself isn't too annoying, but these rings that he throws out can be a nuisance if you get stuck in them. He's normally weak to the frost shield, but we're not going to be using that. He's going to have to just deal with these sparkles that I'm firing at him for right now. Bit wins round one. But in his second fight, I'll go ahead and use up the rest of the Ray Splasher just to stick with the rules. And now that I've met that criteria, I will go ahead and finish him off with the X-Buster. Man, another battle finished with just one hit point left. I've really got to stop doing that. Anyway, right up this ladder, there's a ride armor upgrade, which we're going to go ahead and pick up. Get right on over to Gravity Beetle. The great thing is, his weakness is actually the Ray Splasher weapon. So he will be absolutely light work. And he's out of here all first verse. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Let's take that gravity well we just obtained and head right on over to Crushed Catfish. Not Volt Catfish, excuse me. Even though Crushed Catfish sounds, it just rolls right off the tongue, it sounds better, but Volt Catfish. Another thing I've noticed is that the people that made this game series absolutely loved spikes. And even though they're not too bad here, they're pretty prevalent, especially in this stage. and it only gets worse. By X5, everything is spikes. Anyway, we run into this spike-filled room after coming up a spike-filled column and grab the heart tank. Oh gee, more spikes. Anyway, we used the gravity well to take the elevator to the 5th floor and get probably what is the most helpful upgrade in the game. The chest piece. Help knock the edge off of some of this damage, which would be perfect for this catfish I have to fight. Not gonna lie to you, this may actually be the first time I've ever fought Volt Catfish without using the Tornado Fang. And it's pretty difficult. And if you're keeping count at home, go ahead and add yet another death to the counter. I've already exhausted my ray splasher, so round 2 is all buster action. Keeping theme with the rest of the game, I'm cutting it rather close once again, and I finish yet another Maverick with only 1 health left. Guess defeating them is all that really matters. It just doesn't look good though. Alright, let's take Triad Thunder and roll back to Tunnel Rhino stage so I can grab those 2 upgrades as well. We'll start by grabbing this heart tank right here. And go up here and grab the helmet upgrade. And let's just talk about how useless the helmet is. I mean, sure, yeah, it tells you that there are items still left on the stage, but exactly where they are is not very good because no one's counting the grid blocks that they're in, and it includes the upgrade the super upgrades, which nobody actually wants to use. You want to get the gold armor, so just ignore those. And now we're in my absolute least favorite stage of this game, Blast Hornet. The stage itself isn't too bad, but the Hornet, yuck. Our first pit stop in this stage is to fight a mini boss whose sole existence is just to show off this beautiful, beautiful 3D wireframe technology that was up and coming at the time. Same technology that they used to animate the X at the beginning of this very game itself. Anyway, with him out the way, I can go ahead and pick up the mech that's necessary to have in order to use the rest of the mechs. It's the mech upgrades that you pick up. Even though, let's be honest, you really don't need them except for 2 instances. To punch a wall out and to destroy some fans so you can pick up another upgrade. Other than that, they're pretty much useless. Which stinks. I'd like to be able to use them for fun, but I mean, they're just not practical at all. At least in this stage, this mech is helpful in giving you a boost so you can pick up the heart tank that's just a few feet away. Oh great, look who decided to show up. It's Bite. And I already don't want to fight Blast Hornet. He decides he wants to pull up with the smoke. Fortunately, he's also one of the characters that's weak to Ray Splasher, and it's the weapon that will completely destroy him for the rest of the game. And since I didn't destroy Bit, I don't have to fight that annoying elephant that fills the room up with sewage. That boss fight is an absolute nightmare. Skipping it is for the best. Bite himself, aside from being weak to the Ray Splasher, he's not very bad as long as you don't let him shoulder block you or grab you and slam you into the ceiling. He goes down pretty easily. Now that we slap box Bite out the way, let's pull up on Blast Hornet. Trying to fight Blast Hornet with the Ray Splasher is no fun at all. Because while it does damage him, it doesn't do very much damage. And on top of that, the Hornets that he lets out, they don't take any damage from the Splasher at all. So I'm wasting shots knocking them out, and then he knocks me out. We'll cut towards the end of fail number 2, where I use up the rest of my Ray Splasher. And have to do take 3. You know, as Blast Hornet sends out all his little mini hornets, all I can think about is Nick Cage yelling, "Not the bees!" Alright, time for a little more upgrade cleanup. I head back to Volt Catfish. Why do I keep wanting to say Crush Catfish? That is not his name. Head back to Volt Catfish and pick up a sub-tank. We'll also head back to Gravity Beetle to go ahead and grab the heart tank since all those boxes are magically gone. I tell you, that's stupid. That doesn't even make sense. Destroy the Hornet, now the boxes are gone. That's dumb. Anyway, let's go back to Toxic Seahorse round 2. Use this ice to float all the way up. Grab what I believe is the last rod armor piece. And get back and fight Toxic Seahorse again. Let me tell you, grabbing all those heart tanks and grabbing that chest piece made a huge difference in this rematch. Here he goes with that melting to the ground again. Anyway, with a little patience, a little prayer, and of course some reserve health, Seahorse finally goes down. I actually managed to take him out with the Splasher. Awesome. Our final Maverick is going to be Crush Crawfish. We'll hit him up and pick up the last 2 upgrades as well. Here we go with the helmet showing us where the stuff is, but not really where the stuff is. my mistake. That was not the last piece, mech piece that I picked up in the last stage. Still have one more left. Also, in hindsight, I probably should have went to this spot on the floor to grab that last mech upgrade, rather than getting the mech first, since I would have to walk back and grab one. And it's kind of silly that it would disappear. All I did was go down a few feet to grab something and come back and it's gone. Like, they could have coded it where it would have been left there. Wouldn't even gone that long. That thing must have weighed a ton if it broke the ground like that. Anyway, he helps us so I can go down, break the wall, get the last heart tank, and head right on over to Crushed Crawfish. Tell you what, the way Crawfish moves is really annoying to me. Cause he's either doing two things. He's trying to give you the clamps, or he's throwing it back. And then these little X things are similar to Bit's little rings. They inhibit your movement so he can grab you or bump into you. But much like with Seahorse, thanks to all the upgrades and extra health I had and a little sub-tank juice, I was able to take Crawfish down with the Splasher. So another confirmed kill with the weapon. Alas, we've reached the Doppler stages. Here in this first stage, the goal is to take as little damage as possible so that I don't have to heal up too much, if at all, to get the golden armor upgrade. You have to be at full health to get it, along with having all the upgrades. Good thing is they're kind of fair and at least give you a little health in between there to keep you healthful. Kind of. Before we do anything though, we have to take out this mini boss who's driving what I can only describe as a mech made out of a Mario villain. Alright, I'm at full health. Just don't get hit here. Take a dive off that ledge, jump over a couple little shooters, and here we go. The golden chip upgrade. get the upgrade and head right on over to God Car Machine. Wild thing about this right here is God Car Machine is supposed to be a fusion of Bit and Byte. But if you only defeat one of them, you can still battle them. And it's kind of weird seeing that Bit can still form him even though it's clearly mostly Byte. Alright, but whatever. He takes huge damage from Ray Splasher and he's destroyed quick, fast, and in a hurry. Next up is Doppler 2, and we're going to go ahead and call Zero in so he can fight Bug. And by fight, I mean get blown up by. I nearly messed it up to begin with, because if you don't get yourself loose, Bug will drain Zero's health completely, and then you get no Z-Saber because once he's gone, he's gone. But before losing all my health, I go ahead and take Bug out, and then he takes Zero out. And X benefits from all of it because he doesn't have to fight Bug, nor does, and he can get the Z-Saber now. This boss right here, I would have to say, is probably the most out of place boss in the game, seeing that everyone else that you fought up until this point and after here are somewhere in the story. I had to go ahead and look up what this thing was even called, and come to find out it's called Volt Kuragil. And the only reason why I'm fighting him is because Vile has been completely destroyed. So if you destroy Bit, Byte, and Vile completely with their weapons, you will fight this thing, which is really easy, and then the Elephant Press, which is probably a top 5 worst boss ever. But this boss is simple enough, and I didn't have to fight the Elephant Press, so I'm not gonna complain. And with this last hit, Volt goes on to the Ray Splasher confirmed kill list. Now that he's out of the way, guess what? Boss rush time! Right, Buffalo goes down to a Saber since he's immune to the Splasher. Blast Hornet, of course, thanks to his bees, goes down to the X-Buster once again. Especially since I can't seem to hit him with the Z-Saber. Catfish goes down to the Saber. Beetle becomes a 2-time splasher casualty. Seahorse gets sliced and diced by the Z-Saber. Neon Tiger, who is of course immune to his own weapon, has to be taken down with the Buster as he was at the very beginning of the game. Crawfish goes down to the splasher. And lastly, Rhino goes down to the Saber. In the Doppler fight here, I'm going to start out with the Ray Splasher, but just because once you hit the Ray Splasher, it does so many shots, it is literally the absolute worst weapon you can use, since Doppler likes to throw up the shield and absorb the shots to fill his health back up. One thing I have to do is mid-shot, after I get a couple hits in, I think that he's gonna throw the shield up, I have to hurry up and turn X in the opposite direction so that he doesn't gain any health off of it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But now that I've exhausted the Buster, exhausted the Splasher, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Buster. Doppler takes a Saber shot and he is down. For our grand finale, we will be fighting Sigma, of course. Quite obvious here that the Ray Splasher is probably the least practical weapon for fighting Sigma at all. His first stage takes damage, but creates more work for you to do since he takes the damage so slowly. And then Kaiser Sigma, why even bother with such a small hitbox? But thanks to me enjoying torturing myself, I have at least able to get rid of the first version of Sigma with the Ray Splasher. So I would put that on the confirmed kill list. Unfortunately, like I mentioned before, Kaiser Sigma has a ridiculously small hitbox, and it is very difficult to pinpoint where exactly you need to be in line with to get the shot off and do damage. If you can nail him with the saber, it does a ton of damage, but that timing is brutal. The timing and the aiming is brutal. Kaiser Sigma eventually takes me out after I run out of sub tanks, and does so several times, so please enjoy my Sigma fail montage. Good news, everyone. I managed to beat Sigma on my 5th try. The final task before heading to the credits is a quick game of The Floor is Lava. And while Doppler is getting rid of Sigma for me, I will go ahead and list the confirmed Ray Splasher kills for the game. That will be Seahorse, Beetle, Crawfish, Vile, Bite, God Car Machine, Volt, and Sigma 1. Buffalo and Tiger were immune, so it would be impossible to beat either one of those with the weapons, and I had to finish them off with the Buster. The rest that I had to battle could probably be defeated with the Splasher, but I wasn't playing well enough to confirm either way, so those are to be determined. Maybe I'll try again at a later time if I can get a little bit better at this game. If nothing else, we found out that the Ray Splasher can go a long way in this game. Well, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.